Welcome to the Radio Horror Show here at WCW. If you don't catch this recorded interview while it broadcasts, maybe you'll check it out on the YouTube channel. If you miss the broadcast, you're gonna miss all the cool classic monster movie scores and soundtracks that we will play alongside this interview. On the show with us to talk a little bit about a book coming out, I believe I was told in February, is the classic Monsters in Modern Art book, and the author of it with a couple of his co-conspirators is on with us now, Anthony Taylor. Thank you, all you gentlemen, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Chris.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anthony, how do you, as the author, and then you're working with a bunch of artists, and you're an artist yourself, right?
Well, yeah, I'm a graphic designer. I used to be an illustrator, but I'm mainly an author these days.
How do you co-plot this kind of book? What's the synergy between words and then all the artwork?
Well, the first thing is I've been done several other art books in the past, and I wanted to do an art book that concentrated on the crop of artists that are currently working doing monster stuff rather than kind of the classic guys from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like James Bama and Basil Gogos and Mort Kunstler, and the guys who did the famous Monsters covers and the Aurora model kit boxes and stuff like that, because they've been covered pretty extensively. But the people who are working now, you see a lot of the work, but you don't really understand who they are or kind of how the movement of all of this came after the influence of those original guys like the ones that I mentioned, Bernie Wrightson, kind of these classic people. So the conceit of the book is that this is all artwork that's been created since January 1st, 2000, but it's all of characters from stories that are from before that date. So it's everything up to the turn of this century by the guys and girls, ladies, and men, and everybody who is working now in this field that we could get on board to participate with us. I have never done a book of this nature where it was an amalgam of a bunch of different artists. The other ones that I've done have all been about single artists, but it's a great kind of a coffee table book. My text is kind of a brief history of how mass media became mass media, how these characters came about that are portrayed, how all of this created a pop culture phenomenon, how it influenced our regular culture, how our culture influenced it. So there's a lot of how we perceive art on a very basic level, because I have an art background myself and a degree in art history. And but it's never really been applied to monster art or horror art in a book like this before. So what I did is I know a lot of artists. These guys are not just colleagues; they're both friends of mine. And I kind of came up with the idea and pitched it to Insight Editions, who are a fantastic publisher of wonderful art and photograph image books. And it's coming out February 10th.
How long does it put something like this together to work with all these artists who are of their own art style? And how much do you need to like dictate like what needs to be done, or do you just let them pick a monster and say, "Have at thee"?
No, it's a lot more complicated than that. This has been in progress for almost 3 years. So it takes a while. We didn't really commission any new art for the book other than Graham Humphreys, who you interviewed, and that just like came out this week actually on your channel. But Graham did the cover for us, but everything else was existing work that's again been created since January 1st. So I had a list of people that I knew would be interested in it, and I had a list of people I wish were interested in it. And I went down and approached everybody, and I'm very happy that we got like 50 some odd artists who basically this is the main thrust of what they do as illustrators. Or if it's not, it's like their secret love of what they do when they're working, right? So they do it. Some of them do it full time. Some of them do it, part time. But they are all monster kids who love what they're doing when they're doing monster stuff. So
Before I get to Mark and Fred with a couple questions about what they drew, if you guys have copies of it to show on the on the video, that'd be awesome.
they don't even know. All right. So what the way we worked was we gathered as many as 20 or 30 images, and we had all of these things that we had to place into. This is like a 10 chapter book, and the first chapter is from literally cave paintings up until about 1920 or 1916, and then it's decade by decade through 1990s after that. And what we needed to do was to be able to have flexibility to put in a character that matched the text in the same at the same time. It had to not be by the artist who was just next to it, and it had to be a different style and all this other stuff. So there was we needed a lot of flexibility in what we were able to put in there. They both have multiple pieces in there, but I don't have a proof that I could pull it up and then they could pull it up and stuff like that. And I'm not sure that they would even have prints of them, next to themselves to show anyway. But I know Mark did. We used some of his creature from the Black Lagoon stuff and some hammer art that he's done for I think Scream Factory or Shout Factory, and Frederick. Just a ton of different. He's like a crazy person who like poops out apparently like 5 or 6 new pieces a day. I don't know how it works because he's just like this amazing style and just continuously doing these things. So he was one of those that if we ever had a thing where it's like, well, we don't have anything else, it's like, well, Frederick has it probably somewhere in his collection. So let's see if we've got something from him.
Um, Two things I wanted to bring up real quick before my next question was you mentioned Bernie Wrightson, the late great Bernie Wrightson passed away in 2017. I have a film series I am working on right now. The first film was called Untold Legends of Comics presents Mark Grunwald, and the second one is Untold Legends of Comic Books presents Bernie Wrightson.
Oh, amazing.
And Michael Uslan has seen it. He's in it. He produced the '89 Batman movie as well as like every
Oh,
single
sure. I
Batman
know.
media
Yeah.
since forever.
Yeah.
Several other people have seen it. John Wrightson is in it, and he has seen it. Um, less Liz Wrightson not involved and not seen it and never hear back from. So that's on the wayside. But other people who are connected to Bernie and friends of his and cherished him have seen it, and it's currently sitting in Film Freeway right now under 11 submissions, only one of which was rejected, which was the Boston Sci-Fi Film Fest, which I am a part of, by the way. I can't wait to find out why.
Well,
But
that's probably why you got rejected because you had to recuse yourself from the committee, right? I don't know, but
no, they say
I'm
no. I
looking
don't
for it. I
review
would
the
love to
films.
see
They
it.
the guy who runs the film fest even sent me a code saying, "Oh yeah, volunteer staff and volunteers. Here's a free code to submit it, so you don't have to pay the fee." And then it was rejected. I'm like, "What the hell?" But there's like 10 other film fest that I've submitted it to, and I'm going to submit it to San Diego Comic Con coming up in February when they open their film submissions for July. But I'll send it to you guys to take a look at. It's on a private
Oh,
link, so
yeah.
it's not online yet, because I'm still working through the legality of like using stuff and yada 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 and all that kind of stuff, which brings up another question. But before I get to that, Fred, he said you pump out like 5 images a day, and Mark,
Not not
it,
quite that many.
He
Well,
but he does work very quickly, which is amazing to me because his stuff
well,
is very, very meticulously,
I,
when you look at it.
I worked as a commercial artist for 40 plus years, and I was used to working entirely on that and keeping within deadlines. So that kind of helped me get motivated. I mean, I'll set my own deadlines, and you know, it's definitely not 5 a day, but I can do one a day maybe.
Okay.
you guys, yeah, Mark and Fred, do you guys draw everything and then paint it out, or do you guys do a preliminary drawing and then start over again once you have the thing in your head? Because I am a hit or miss artist sometimes. And like I know like when I have like tattoos, tattoo guys, whatever, they'll draw it on a piece of paper and color it out, and then they'll be like, "How about this?" And I'm just like, "Perfect." And then they'll draw it on my arm, and then begin the inking.
Well, for me, it depends on who I'm working with. Some people just go, "I trust you, do something." Other people ask for, at least a sketch, and some people ask for 3 to 5 sketches. It depends on, I hate to put it this way, the more serious the company, the more sketches they usually ask for. But with a lot of things, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is sort of like people that know me real well, and so I'll tell them what I'm going to do, or I'll wait until I get something that works inside my head, like an epiphany, or because at first, especially with something that's tough, you'll sit there and think about it and go, okay, this one's eluding me, but you'll think about the subject a lot. And then it's like the old adage, the nuclear physicist is on the, takes a day off and he's on the trolley car in San Francisco. As he's stepping off the trolley car, boom, he has an epiphany, and there's part of his answer right there. And sometimes I'll think about something very intently, and then when I get away from it, an idea, it's almost like meditation, an idea will float to the surface. But yeah, I mean, there's sketches, there's pencil underlines. I mean, uh, I'll do a rough pencil and scan it in, and then throw it up on the computer to start it in Painter. Or if I'm doing it in acrylics or oils, I'm very meticulous then with the finished pencils, because I want everything. I want to have a very good idea of where I'm going with every bit of it, so I'm not halfway through a painting and go, you know what, I should have sketched in that area more. Now I'm asking questions and things like that. I hope that answered some sort of a question.
Yeah, no, just the what's your basically the I tend to ask the longest version of a question that could be easily summed up as like, "What is your art style like?" That's very easy, and then I ask the long version. I'm sorry, it's just the reporter in me.
Well, that's okay. Well, I mean, my style is pretty realistic. I mean,
You do the Scream Factory ones, right? Or was it Fred?
it was Shout Factory, Scream, yeah, Scream Factory,
Okay.
and it's one of those things where you've got um shoot, now I forgot what I was going to say. My style is based on multiple things. All the education I got in like art history in college, and then painting at FSU and all this sort of, when I did all that, I started learning that you could learn from almost any kind of artist. When somebody goes, Jackson Pollock stinks, you go, no, Jackson Pollock doesn't stink. And neither does Bama, and neither does the photorealists, and neither does Magritte, and neither does you can pull from everything. And my, like the way that I do color and things like that, it didn't really even come from painting. I had the hardest time figuring out how to work a color palette until I did 15 years of color corrections in darkroom work back in the 1980s. I mean, I learned all of my color theory and came from photography. So,
Yeah, I'm looking at your stuff now. You have all my money. I own the Dracula 1979, which by the way, the Vampire Movie Minute podcast I do, we covered this film 5 minutes at a time, and we gave you a bunch of props for the cover.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you. I appreciate it.
but I own a lot of these Hammer films because I was actually also doing it one time, and I hope it returns one day. Just got to find the right co-host. I was doing a Hammer movie podcast through the pandemic, and um, uh, we reviewed every single Dracula, Frankenstein, Hammer movie, and then we started getting into the ancillary, non kind of like uh, series of films in Hammer, and then it unfortunately ended after 22 episodes just because of my co-host.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine. But I had to go out and buy all these Scream Factory Blu-rays because I only had like kind of like regular versions of them, or I didn't own them. So I ended up like just like getting like Scream Factory Blu-ray after Blu-ray with your art on it.
They were fun to do. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure. Didn't they moved over to a new company or something? Somebody's sending them out, but the work I,
Groove is they're still a company, but they don't have distribution anymore.
mhm,
I don't know the whole story behind that, and I'm sure somebody probably has a YouTube video explaining what happened. But
right.
Groove is now their distributor.
Yeah.
So they're a company within a company instead of being by themselves. I guess they couldn't.
Ah, gotcha.
I mean, their library quality has declined tremendously over the years because of Arrow and a couple other companies have
Hmm.
really taken a hit out of them. And
Right.
you look at Arrow. Arrow is putting out everything they used to put out. I mean, they're now putting out. They put out like last year alone. They put out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the trilogy, The Mask, and Evil Dead Rise just came out from them. Snakes on a Plane's coming out soon.
Hmm.
The Conan film, so on and so forth. Just so many films that you were like, wow, these all used to be like Scream Factory, Shout Factory, other kind of companies, and now Arrow is just
Right. Right. Yeah. I
I
love
don't know
I
what
love
happened.
working for them though. I mean, when I go in there, I think Anthony and Taylor and I were driving back home when I got my first job from them. We were driving back from a
Yep,
convention,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
but it was one of those where with they tell me what the next one was, and I'd watch that movie, so many times it was freaking ridiculous. And then spend like, Brides of Dracula, Peter Cushing's coat with the little line work in it. Just the line work alone was like about 2 to 3 days worth of work just by itself. That's yeah, because I don't know, I take it real serious. I want what I want, you know, and if not, I'm gonna fall down on the ground and kick and scream and have to have my diaper changed, you know.
I never miss an opportunity to remind somebody who Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee was. Most of the time, the Christopher Lee, it's kind of easy, especially this year because the Lord of the Ring movies are back in theaters, and it's the
Right.
25th anniversary of the entire franchise of the entire film franchise.
Sure.
So that's pretty easy. But with Peter Cushing, it's a little harder sometimes. Um,
I don't
but
know.
Well,
You
usually
know,
with him, it's you say
everything looks
Star
so
Wars.
realistic.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, you say Star Wars and
Star Wars, yeah.
but the thing is, the reason those guys got those jobs was because the filmmakers at that time loved what we loved. They loved those guys. You
Right.
know, if Boris Karloff had still been alive, they might have put him in one of those too. It's like Tim Burton was using Christopher Lee up until the very last.
Vincent Price.
And Vincent Price too. They
Yeah,
all went
and
out. They all
Alfred
yep.
Gow, yep,
Michael Golf,
Gow,
or you
yeah.
say it.
Corpse Bride, I think, was one of his last movies.
Sure. You know.
Fred, what is your art style like? By the way, just so people can see what it doesn't have to be from the book. Can you guys show like a piece of artwork you've done so they see what your
All right. Hold on a second.
all right.
Oh boy, let me see. I've
I
got
saw on somebody before we started, somebody had on a drawing board looked like Duel.
yeah, the movie Duel. I mean, this is one that I'm working on right now. It's a
Oh my God, look at
commission,
that.
but it's the truck isn't nearly as far along as the car, but that's in oils. And
That's
I
crazy
like
that
the
you can show motion like that.
yeah,
I don't know.
the blur motion on the mountains is great.
I don't know if you can see the detail in the car, but the guy that's hired me to do it, he's a car fanatic, so it's like, oh, I better get every little tiny
I know.
detail on that bumper
I'm
right.
working I'm working on a John Wick poster now, and it's like everybody's like, those guns got to be exact. That car's
Yeah.
got to be exact. Like, oh my God.
Which is weird because you don't expect that as much. I mean, the stuff that has run through our heads a million times, like these older films, people will hang you out to dry and then they'll hang you. And it's
Yes.
one of those where when it's beloved to a certain point, you
I
better get it all right. I'm a little surprised people got onto you that much about the John Wick because it's sort of there's so much of that, him.
I
I
know.
mean,
I know.
I,
Well,
let
yeah,
me guess. Did you do the fight in the middle of Paris in the middle of the big
well,
circle or whatever? Where it's
it's from
five
the
thousand cars.
it's from the first movie. I wanted as this is chapter one, right? This is solely to the chapter one, so it's a little less than what the will be if we do the series, but
Yeah,
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 it's essentially the action is nowhere near as intense as the other films, but I
right.
just tried to capture the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you have to try to get as right. You get as much reference as you can. You get a copy of the film, especially with
Yeah.
older stuff. Like one year, I was doing a cover for Scream magazine of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I'd seen the same like 4 or 5 photographs of him tied at the altar, chained to the altar, and this and the other. And I'm like, I've got to have something different. So my girlfriend, she is pretty good at putting costumes together real quick. So she built me a hunchback costume,
Oh, that's
and
fabulous. Yeah.
and so I went ahead and we went out in her house when she lived out in the country. We went out to this gazebo that she had that was like about 15 feet above the floor of the forest, and went out, and I got on the outside of the gazebo, and I was swinging back and forth on it. She goes, "You do realize that you're holding on by one hand, hanging off of a gazebo, and looking out over the crowd or whatever." And she goes, if you drop, you're going to break both your legs. I didn't even think about it. I had to hurry it up and
Well,
get some reference
that's what
material.
Quasimodo. That's what he would have done anyways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
So,
you're in
but
the
yeah,
part.
you've gotta, that's one of the things I do a lot of is if the reference material doesn't exist, you try to recreate it like with a lot of the Kolchak covers. I mean, I've got, jackets and
Yeah,
a little
that
fake
jacket of his is that must have took you days and days.
the little tiny pinstripes on
I
that
know,
thing.
I know.
You see that crap in your dreams. But I got little fake styrofoam cut out of the camera. It's actually up here on the shelf. With the hats, I just sort of watch the show and just draw it on the head kind of thing after I'm done. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of work in this. There's a lot of background work that make the work, I think, better that people don't even understand.
yeah,
You know, yeah.
yeah. I had the same problem with a pinstripe suit on the Twilight Zone piece I did of Burgess Meredith.
Well, uh-huh.
Like I started the pinstripes, I said, "Well, it's too late now. I just got to keep going." It felt like I was going blind by the end of it.
Or there's that day that you've had too much coffee and your hand's shaking when you do.
I,
Or here's one that's been pissing me off lately is I'm sitting here drawing or whatever, and the shark robot, the vacuum comes in, and I'm in the middle of inking a
no,
straight
no,
line, and pow.
it bumps into your
Oh, I
tab.
understand. I understand that line, your droids don't belong in here. I never thought that was so stupid when I first saw that in Star Wars. Like, hey, wait a minute, I kind of get it. Get the hell out of here, robot, and kick it.
Well, they seem to be invading in lots of space, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we got to get used to it.
So you got a picture?
Yeah, recent book. There's quite a few pictures in here, actually. Here, let me.
Oh, this is your
I'll
art book
just.
that was on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yep.
and
cool.
there's my favorite subject right there, and I like the character.
Nice.
Is that Anthony? Is that Anthony Perkins?
No,
Dwight
that's
Fry.
Dwight Fry. Yeah,
Oh, well, sorry. Sorry.
and here, let me see if I can see it from that. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
my
Bride of
bride.
Frankenstein, Elsa Lancaster.
Yeah, she's pretty
It's
popular.
crazy for somebody who had like 5 minutes of screen time. How much merchandise they have about
I
her?
know
It's nuts. And
It was
you
just
got
too cool.
you got that new movie coming out, and it's like that is gonna give that version of the character so much more. But it's like somebody needs to make a movie with that version that's in your book.
Yeah.
yes, but yeah, I mean the majority of my real love is Universal Studios, but there's a lot of Hammer stuff in here as well.
Do
Well,
you
I
are those all
don't have much up
essays?
here. I've got this is it's all got autographs
Spirit.
all over. Well, this is a Indiana
Oh, how
Jones piece
cool!
I did. All these actors came to a convention in Pensacola, Florida, Pensacon. But they after I got done with it, they made shirts and everything. They went ahead and all the actors signed it for me, which made me happy. And I don't know whether you can see this one or not. It's a little dark up here, but the same thing with everybody, the Marines from
Oh,
Alien,
that's tremendous. That's great.
you
Yeah,
know.
that's awesome.
So, but yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
while you're over there, Mark, why don't you show that Paul Garner Close Encounters piece? Because that's
oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
artist that's also in the book.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul, well, he's got a bunch of stuff in there as well, and he has done mostly probably best known for doing that kind of revisionist poster stuff for some of the publishers that put them out, in limited editions. So
We
Right.
should because we're, obviously a lot of this stuff, is like movie poster-esque and such. Uh, Pour one out for Drew Struzan, who just passed away in December.
Yeah.
I mean, his stuff just
2025 was, I mean,
unbelievable.
as far as
You're in and out, Frederick. Where you're kind of cutting in and out, buddy. Say
Yeah.
that again.
oh,
What
I'm
were you
sorry.
saying, Fred?
Yeah, 2025 was a terrible year for the passing of iconic artists. I mean, there was so many.
Absolutely.
Robert McKimson. I mean, not Robert McKimson. Not
Robert
McGinnis.
McGinnis and Mort Kunstler passed away
Mort
also.
Kunstler, yep. Yep. Quite a few, Drew, of course.
I mean, people that affected us, I mean, like Anthony was talking about earlier with the pre-2000 artists, they were the reason, one of the main reasons, I wanted to become an artist. I mean, there was comic book guys, but then, the one that really shocked me when I first started really looking at him close was Bama with his Doc Savage book covers. I thought that those things were tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
And then later realized that he was the one that had done, several of the monster boxes and stuff like that, and the Big Head Frankenstein illustration. And you see that, and then there's Go-Go's and, and others. I mean, oddly enough, the one that I really love, and I've got it in the living room, is the Ken Kelly 1975 Famous Monsters poster. For the convention, and I just love that thing. I mean, for years, just stop and still look at it, and it's very inspirational. Those older guys,
Oh, yeah.
Ken came on the show. Was it 2026? 13 years ago.
Yeah, and he's gone too. I mean,
Yeah, I have the only
And
thing I have
always
signed of his is I had
fun
him sign
conversation,
the
yeah.
Star Wars. The only thing I had him sign, that I met him at a horror convention in Worcester, and I had him sign all 4 issues of Star Wars Boba Fett Enemy of the Empire, and he had prints, and I got a print, which unfortunately I no longer have. It got destroyed, but I had a print that he signed or whatever. It said, "I loved coming on the show," and it's the one where Boba Fett is fighting Darth Vader on the cover. Vader's got his lightsaber overhead. Boba Fett's like pointing his guns at him. Never actually happens in the comic book, by the way. That scene never happens. They never actually fight, but
yeah,
they're just 4 beautifully painted covers of Boba Fett.
yeah. I've got 2 original Star Wars Shadows of the Empire paintings by the brothers Hildebrandt. They did a series of cards, and I've got them there in the dining room.
Yeah, both those guys are gone now too.
Yeah.
We lost them last year, right?
Well, we lost the one brother. Yeah, and
Right.
the other one had died. I don't know how far back.
Like 20 years back. So
Yeah, which is weird because I have twin sisters. It's like, to me, the loss of a twin, it just seems to be it's even more intense than just the loss of a sibling or something, because there's a bond there.
Somebody I know runs a film fest said to me, everyone keeps asking me if I want to see the movie Sinners. So he's like, it's the best new horror movie of the year, and he's like, why would I want to see that movie? I heard there was twins in it. One of the twins die, and I don't want to see that. I don't understand Hollywood's obsession with making everything about twins. He had a daughter of a twin set of daughters die at the age of 16. The other daughter has lived on, and he's become a grandfather because of her. But he's lost a daughter of the twins that he had years ago. And he's when everyone keeps asking about Sinners, he shuts them down.
Well, I mean, it's like the weekend that my dad died, Hellraiser came out. And my mom goes, she's talking to me and my brother, you guys need to get out of the house. You need to go do something. And we went over to the movie theater, and my brother goes, should you want to go see that? And I said, I in no way, shape, or form am going to go see Hellraiser this week. And it was one of those that I still to this day, I completely hate it. And I've never even seen it. I've seen parts of some of the other ones, so it's okay that I hate it because I don't like those either. But it's just one of those things. You scratch that itch without real reason. But to hell with the film, no pun intended.
What you do is you start backwards, with the exception of the remake, which was actually good. You start with the really bad ones and work your way back, and you can see a progression of good cinema.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
No, it'd be a giant
It's
list of
just one of
nothing.
those things, you know.
That
But
shows you how personal movies are. I mean, any
sure.
sort of media. I mean, it can affect you. I mean, I've seen movies that are universally lauded, and it's like I can be in a bad mood, and it's like it'll shape my view of whatever.
It's the movie and you. It's like
Yeah,
looking at abstract art. It's you
absolutely.
go and you see this thing, and it's you're bringing your life to it at the same time. I mean, there's a chance that you aren't going to like something, you know.
I have that same reaction, and I will rewatch it. But every time I have with somebody, it's broken me down a bit or whatever. Is the week my father died, Avengers Endgame came out, and then
Oh,
like you go to the movies to escape
I know.
yeah,
reality, and
sure.
then what happens in that movie? Tony Stark gets this giant like, hey, reunited with dad, and understanding why dad is the way he is. And I never got that with my dad. My dad and I hadn't talked for years before he died, so I was just like, God
So,
damn it, Russo brothers,
having
you're.
said that, did we lock up, guys?
No,
Um, no, I'm still
Did
here.
we?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, it's
Yeah, but we are
everybody,
about the 4 minute
something,
mark,
he's
so
locked
just
up.
keep that in
Anyway,
mind.
well, having said that, Anthony's now going to bring in the therapist for us all
I know
to
it's
talk
going that
to,
way.
you know,
of
so we can
That's
course.
get
fine.
this
But we're
out.
at the four
That's
minute
that's
mark.
part of
Just
what I talk about in the
I'm
book
not hearing
is
anybody.
how cathartic, film and storytelling, just in whatever
Absolutely.
medium
Yeah.
can be.
Yep.
And a great example of that is right after World War One, when all of these guys were coming back and they had been scarred by the war, they had lost limbs or been, just horribly disfigured. People they'd never really had they didn't know how to react to that, like
Yeah.
face to
Yeah.
face with somebody.
Sure.
And they could go into a dark theater and watch a Lon Chaney movie where he played characters that were
Yeah.
like disfigured and or missing limbs and all these other things that he did, and they could express their terror, their horror, their whatever it was. It was in the dark. Nobody would get upset with them. Nobody would be offended by it, and it was therapeutic on a very, very kind of like basic level.
Yeah.
um, and there's a lot of examples of that kind of experience that people, in very hard times, horror films are very popular. Uh,
Yes.
For
they,
sure.
give us an outlet to experience the kind of frustration and horror that we cannot react to on a societal basis without fear of reprisal or some sort of issue with offending somebody or having to defend something that's indefensible on a different level.
Right. Yeah. I
real,
agree
re-
completely.
real quick, so that way the Zoom call doesn't cut us off. Why don't you guys plug where people can find your artwork individually, and then Anthony plug where people can get the book.
Absolutely. Brad?
Um, FrederickCooperArts.com. I'm on media, mostly on Facebook and Instagram. Um, it's under Frederick Cooper Arts as well. But yeah,
Cool.
I sell prints, originals, posters, pretty much everything on my website.
Yeah, your stuff
Cool.
is phenomenal. The fine line artwork to make everyone look so realistic is insane.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I pulled out my sketchbook. Um,
Look at that.
this is the
That looks like a photo.
these are some originals. Some of the Hammer
Oh,
Hammer
Nice.
Girls.
they by the way, the name of my podcast was Boobs, Blood, and Badasses, the Hammer Horror Podcast.
I hit
Somebody
those
who
highlights.
admits it.
Everyone keeps asking me why am I doing so many Hammer Girls, and Anthony knows.
Mark, plug
And I will let
plug your
everyone know
Welcome.
soon.
And they're all
Mark, plug yourself
wonderful,
real quick.
wonderful ladies. The ones that are left are kind of all friends of ours. Mark,
Oh,
where can they
yes.
find your stuff?
Mark, plug yourself real quick.
It's I'm at maddoxplanet.com, maddoxplanet.com. I've got originals on there, prints, and I do commissions for anybody who's interested in anything, any type of subject, even outside of the realm of monsters, although those are a particular favorite in science fiction.
Great.
And then
Anthony,
on,
sorry, the Zoom call's about to kill us. So,
okay,
Anthony, plug where people can find the book.
You can find the book anywhere online at Amazon or bookstore.org, bookshop.org, or it will be in Barnes and Noble and all over the place. And my website is goanthonytaylor.com.
Gotcha. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about this amazing art book. I really look forward to checking it out, and hopefully everyone goes and sees it at cons and grabs either original artwork or prints from you, or if you guys have individual books, I know Frederick does, get one of those.
Absolutely. And come see
Well, I
us on
appreciate it.
Monsterama in August 7th through 9th in Atlanta. We'll all be there and sign your book for you.
Thanks so
Cool.
much.
Yeah.